Ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. President Trump warned us, the media mocked him, and now every word has come true. Zoran Mandami, the socialist darling of AOC's New York machine, is being exposed for exactly what President Trump said he was, a 100% communist lunatic hiding behind the mask of progress. And as the truth explodes across Wall Street, across Washington, and across every city that's sick of paying for somebody else's free everything, AOC is melting down in real time, defending the indefensible, because this isn't just about politics anymore. This is about loyalty. It is about truth. It's about who actually stands for America and who's been quietly working to remake America in the image of their own ideology. Now, we got ties to a radical imam, a collapsing socialist agenda that's already spooking investors nationwide, and a Democrat civil war that is so chaotic that even the mainstream media can't spin at this time. President Trump called it. He said these people would destroy the economy, divide the nation, and cozy up to extremists. And guess what? Every headline this week proves him 100% right. So buckle up, guys, because what is unraveling right now in New York isn't just a scandal. It is proof that Trump's America First warning wasn't paranoia, it was prophecy. Hit the like button and subscribe. President Trump said it plain as day. Zoran Mandami is a 100% communist lunatic. The press laughed, AOC rolled her eyes, but look at where we're at now, right? I mean, every policy, every statement, every connection that this man has touched proves Trump wasn't exaggerating. He was predicting. Back then, they called it fear-mongering, but now Wall Street is trembling. New York is splitting at the seams, and the same voices that mock Trump are suddenly very, very quiet because the pattern is obvious. They promise equity, they deliver chaos, they preach inclusion, they divide Americans by race, class, and faith. Now, under President Trump's second term, the receipts are piling up. The lies are peeling back, and the people are finally seeing that the man that they call unhinged was the only one that was telling the truth. In fact, this isn't a political slogan anymore. It is a reality check with a price tag that is attached to every middle-class paycheck in America. And so who rushed in to defend him the second that the truth broke? AOC, of course. She's out there on X, on MSNBC, shrieking that, criticism of Mandami is Islamophobic, anti-immigrant, hate speech. She just goes on and on and on. This is the same tired playbook, guys. If you expose corruption, then you're suddenly a bigot. You guys have seen this play before, right? They keep running the same play. It's like tackle the guy, right? You already know what's coming. If you question socialism, you're suddenly anti-human. But here's a twist. Even inside of her own party, Democrats they're backing away. City officials are dodging interview. You got fundraisers, they're freezing their donations. Privately, they're admitting this whole thing has spiraled into a nightmare. Now, AOC's meltdown isn't leadership, it is desperation, because Trump's America First revival is leaving her movement in the dust. Moderate Democrats are whispering that the socialist wing has become a liability and not an asset. The question isn't if the left fractures, it's when. And when it does, history will remember who warned us, okay? Who warned us first about it. Hint, it wasn't AOC, it was really Trump that warned us about that. Now, I want to talk about this so-called plan that's got Wall Street in full-blown panic mode, okay? So Zoran Mandami and AOC, they're promising what every failed socialist movement in history has promised. Free everything. Nobody got paid for nothing. Free buses, free housing, free healthcare, free groceries, and of course, a wealth tax to make sure that somebody else pays for it all. Sounds great, right? Up until the bill comes due. Because every economist in New York is saying the same thing. Mandami's math doesn't work. His free agenda would gut small businesses, it would crush landlords, and it would send every dollar of investment fleeing. It would all flee south. It would go to Texas and Florida before the ink dries. No one would stay in New York, not if they're doing that kind of nonsense up there. This isn't compassion. This is a slow motion economic collapse that is dressed up as equality, and it just won't work. And so while they're busy preaching about justice, the working class families are footing the bill, and they're watching their city crumble under the weight of utopian delusion. Trump warned them. They didn't listen. And so now they're watching the fallout in real time. Now, I want you to ask yourself, is your Medicare plan helping your retirement, or is it really hurting it? The wrong plan eats away at savings year after year. And this is why I partner with Chapter. They make Medicare strengthen your retirement instead of draining it. Now, one of our viewers, she said, Chapter saved me thousands. My Medicare plan finally works for me. Now, here's the truth. Most people don't even realize that they could be wasting hundreds of dollars every single year, if not thousands of dollars every single year, without even knowing it. So let me ask you this. Do you want your retirement drained? Or do you want to do what most people already are and protect it? Now, most people, they're dialing the phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. That phone number again is 909-563-8279. And of course, it is totally free for the Ron Yates community. Oh, and don't take my word for it. I mean, look at what our viewers are saying. So Terrence Scott said, just wanted to say thank you for Chapters. They saved me $60 a month. We also got a message from Christian Massa saying Chapter takes very little time and effort. My mother is saving money. I love it, guys. I absolutely love it. Chapter is changing lives for the better, and it can change yours too. So give them a call. So the reaction, folks, it is absolutely instant. The financial world has officially declared open revolt against AOC and Mandami's socialist crusade. Look, major CEOs are calling it a capital strike. Hedge fund managers are threatening to relocate entire operations out of New York City. Even longtime Democrat donors are quietly closing their checkbooks in the Big Apple. The Wall Street Journal reports that businesses are pulling investment faster than they did during the pandemic. Folks, analysts are comparing the situation to Venezuela back in the 2010s. Same rhetoric, same policies, and the same outcome. Runaway debt and empty shelves. Anybody remember empty shelves and people stealing and stocking up on toilet paper? But the kicker here, these are the same people who mocked Trump for warning that socialism would destroy America's financial backbone. Now they're quoting him in the boardrooms. Isn't that funny? You made fun of Trump and now you're quoting him, because the truth is simple. You can't tax your way into prosperity. It doesn't work that way. You can only work, build, and innovate your way there. This is exactly what President Trump's America First agenda is restoring. And so now this is where things go from bad to unthinkable, because while AOC was busy defending Mandami on Twitter, a photo surfaced that should have ended his campaign on the spot. There he is, arm in arm, smiling with Imam Siraj Bahaj, the same man who once served as a character witness for the mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Now, I want you to think about that, okay? A man running for mayor of New York, the city that still bears the scars of the 9/11 attack, posing proudly with someone who was tied to the darkest moments in American history. And yet, not a single Democrat demanded an explanation, not one. Conservative watchdogs called it out immediately. Of course, the legacy media did what they always do. They buried it under the rug faster than you could say fact check, right? This is not just tone deaf. It's symbolic, because this isn't about just one photo. This is about the ideology that the photo represents. You see, guys, America was built on a covenant, one nation under God, right? Not under Marx, not under globalism, not under any other imported manifesto. And so when a politician stands up and says, we came here to remake this state in the image of our people, you better believe him. Okay? You better believe him when he makes a remark like that, because that is not a slip. This is a mission statement. Okay, this is why President Trump's message hits so hard. He's not just fighting for votes. He's demanding America's soul back. Okay, he is defending America's soul, and he's restoring a culture that honors faith, freedom, and truth over ideology, division, and deceit. This is what terrifies the left the most right here, guys, because once people start waking up to the idea that our values matter more than their propaganda crap, their entire power structure collapses. And President Trump, he calls it the revival of the republic. I call it accountability. And New York is about to get a front row seat to both. Here's where things really kind of take a turn that nobody in the media wants to touch, okay? So under Title 8, USC 1451, any naturalized citizen who lied or concealed allegiance to another power can face denaturalization. Now, nobody's saying that Mandami personally committed that, but the question needs to be asked. If you swear loyalty to the United States, then turn around and pledge to remake the state in the image of our people, you got to ask, what exactly does that mean, Mr. Mandami? This is not a cultural debate. This is a question of allegiance. And so the Trump Justice Department has already confirmed that they are reviewing cases where ideology may have been hidden during the naturalization process, not to persecute faith, but to protect the republic, because loyalty to America is not optional. This is foundational, okay? And so when that oath is taken lightly, the entire structure starts to shake, just like we're seeing in New York City today. Now, here's the part that AOC doesn't want anyone to know. This isn't just Mandami acting alone, okay? This is an entire socialist network that is operating inside of the Democratic Party. AOC, Julius Salazar, and a growing bloc of Democrat socialists of America's legislatures, they call themselves the movement. Their agenda? Nationalize industry, defund the police, boycott Israel, and redistribute wealth under the banner of equality or equity. Guys, Mandami even bragged about it on camera. He said, "We came here to remake this state." This is not grassroots politics. That's infiltration. It's a slow, deliberate attempt to replace American capitalism with Marxist collectivism, one seat at a time. This is exactly what the playbook is. Now, here's the twist, okay? President Trump's administration saw this coming a mile away. This is why he launched the American Prosperity and Freedom Initiative, rolling back socialist infiltration in education, nonprofits, and city budgets. Because if you don't stop the ideology, you'll eventually have to stop the crisis that it creates. Now, I want to talk about the part that really should send chills down every American spine: national security. Because according to multiple briefings out of Washington just this fall, the intelligence community is quietly tracking ideological infiltration through activists and political networks. And guess what, guys? The fingerprints lead straight back to the same circles Mandami and AOC operate in. Now, of course, they deny everything. They say it's xenophobia, it's fear-mongering, the usual script, right? But when you got elected officials that are meeting with these figures once tied to terror-linked organizations and aligning with globalist socialist movements that despise the United States, it stops being a conspiracy theory and it suddenly starts becoming a national threat. This is exactly why President Trump's America First Security Act passed earlier this year. This was a bipartisan bill, by the way, aimed at blocking foreign money and ideology from infecting American politics, because protecting this country isn't political, it's patriotic. And so while all of this is exploding behind the scenes, the mainstream media is absolutely imploding. Look, you got CNN's ratings in free fall, MSNBC's anchors can barely get through a segment without snapping at each other, and every time AOC or Mommy go on air, the clips go viral for all of the wrong reasons. Remember AOC's meltdown on CNN last week? Y'all remember that? Just drop a yes down below if you do. She tried to claim the outrage was manufactured, but the host pressed her, asking why Democrats were losing working class voters in record numbers. She froze. She couldn't even answer. Dead silence in the studios. Meanwhile, independent media, the very voices that they mocked, they're setting viewership records today because Americans do not trust the press anymore. They trust results. And under President Trump, they're seeing the results again. Lower inflation, stronger energy independence, record small business growth, you name it. This is why the media is panicking, because they can't hide behind headlines when the truth's staring everybody else in the face.